All right, so welcome back. Mr. Murphy here again, teaching you about lesson one in exponential notation. So students know what it means for a number to be raised to a power and how to represent the repeated multiplication symbolically. Students know the reason for some bases requiring parentheses. Okay, I'm going to share this PowerPoint with you, this thing, and you can click there to get to the student workbook. But let's take a look at exponential notation first. So think about this. So when you were in like third grade, you learned if you repeatedly add something, 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. So I add 3 5 times. That's the same as saying 5 times 3. So multiplication is related to addition because repeated addition is multiplication. So remember when I said couple of days ago that math is adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. So that's all we're doing here. Adding becomes multiplying. So now we have repeated multiplication becomes exponents. So if I multiply 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, so I'm multiplying 3 5 times, that is saying 3 to the power of 3. And so when we call this 3 is the base and 5 is the exponent. So I would say this as 3 to the power of 5. And it works with everything. So negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2. There's 4 of them. So that's negative 2 to the fourth power. Works with decimals. 2.3 times 2.3 times 2.3 times 2.3 times 2.3 is 2.3 to the fifth because there's 5 of them. And then 9 over 4 times 9 over 4 times 9 over 4 is the same as 9 over 4 to the power of 3, because there's 3 of them. That's basically it for exponential notation. The book writes it like this, because 4 times 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 4 times, it's so many 4s, it gets confusing. So they just write it 4 times something. So you're repeating multiplying by 4 21 times, which is written in exponential notation 4 to the power of 21. So now we see why we need exponential notation, because writing out 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 21 times takes a long time. I can be lazy and write 4 to the power of 21 to mean the same thing. Okay? So I would like you to think about these questions and answer these questions on note paper. Pause the video right now and just go ahead and write those down. And then answer these questions. So can you have different base numbers? No, because you have the base number to a power, so that means that number is being multiplied repeatedly, so it's always the same. Can you mix negative and positive numbers? No, the base has to be the same. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2, etc. Be careful of the sign. We learned in 7th grade, if I multiply a negative times a negative times a negative times a negative, the answer is going to be negative. But if there was only 4 of these here, negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2, that would be a positive, because negative times a negative is a positive, times a negative is a negative, times a negative is a positive. Why do you think we need parentheses with fractions and decimals? Just for clarity's sakes. So you know that if I have like a negative 2 to the power of 5, you might think it's negative 2 to the power of 5. They would be separate. So I put the parentheses around them so you know for sure they are connected. Can I quickly find the base 3 to the power of 15 on your calculator? Yes. On your calculator, there's a button here, y to the x. So if I press that button, 3y to the x 15, that would be 3 to the 15, and it spits out the answer. Can you do the same with fractions and decimals? Yes, but I need to put a parentheses around it. Sometimes it works, but I want to be clear and put the parentheses around it. Without using the calculator, would negative 72 to the 15th be positive or negative? So they're multiplying it 15 times. So is it going to be positive or negative? It's going to be negative because a negative times a negative an odd number of times, the answer is negative. If 35 to the power of 2 equals 35 times 35, what do you think 35 to the power of 1 would be? That's right, just 35. Can you write 2 times negative 3 times 4 times negative 2 in exponential notation? No, they're different bases. Can you write 8 in exponential notation with a base of 2? You can. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. So that would also be 2 to the power of 3. All right, so some more practice. We'll get to that in a minute, but this lesson is getting long.